This is an iPhone 6s, and I think it is the best phone to buy in 2023. Now, obviously, it's not the most feature-packed. It's not going to be the phone that wows your friends. In fact, most people are probably going to question you, or they'll say, "Ooh, thumbprint, I like that." But for the most part, people are going to look at you a little funny because you don't have the latest and greatest. And when you start talking about how great this phone is, they're going to have some questions. And the simplest way to answer them is that you are trying to live a more intentional life, and you are so sick of doom scrolling, wasting your life on social media, wasting your life on your phone, not getting out, experiencing the good weather, the sunlight, the water, the crunch of the leaves, the grass, the smell of everything. You're sick of just staying inside, scrolling on your phone. You developed bad habits during 2020, and they've only gotten worse throughout the last 3 years. I'm going to help you break your habit. It's really simple. Go on eBay right now, find an iPhone 6s, and buy that. Is this the best phone ever? No. Is this the phone that I would suggest that you buy, though? Absolutely. And the reasons are pretty simple. Basically, every year, each new smartphone that comes out makes it more and more engaging. It makes it so you want to use the phone more and more. When the iPhone 13 Pro was released, it came out with 120 Hz variable refresh rate display. That makes the phone just that much more enticing to use. I no longer have my iPhone 13 Pro, I gave it away, so I no longer have that option. But when I had the option to go to that phone and it was available, it was so addictive. Everything about it was so nice. The screen was so big. The colors of the screen were so nice. The way you interacted with the phone, it was so refined and so nice. Not that the usage on this phone isn't refined, it's just not nearly as addictive. The screen sucks compared to that phone, but it's still perfectly fine for modern use as a day-to-day device. Trust me, I've used it now for almost 3 weeks, and it is literally so wonderful. I really enjoy it. I never find myself tempted to use the phone. It's so easy to set down and just leave it aside. In fact, I went back to my iPhone 13 like a week ago just because I wanted to test some things out on it and see the difference, and I put my SIM card back in it. And within 2 hours, I was doom scrolling on YouTube Shorts, which is something I'm not really typically that bad about. But the second I picked up that phone, it was like I entered a whole new world, everything like that Aladdin song. So I immediately pulled it out, put it back into this phone, and that's why I wiped that phone. I gave it away. I don't ever have to think about using that phone ever again. People are going to have questions, and one of the questions is, well, aren't you just going to go back to using your phone as much as you did when you had your iPhone 13? And for me, after 3 weeks, the answer is definitively no. Absolutely not. I do not find myself using my phone nearly as much as I did when I had my iPhone 13. I never just sit down and just watch content. I do still listen to a decent amount of content, whether that be audiobooks, podcasts, or music. But whenever I'm doing that, I'm always doing something else. I'm never just sitting down on a chair scrolling through the music app or scrolling through the podcast app. Typically, I've found myself more willing to do stuff. I'll mow the lawn. I'm more likely to mow the lawn. I'm more likely to make a YouTube video. I'm more likely to write a script. I'm more likely to do a lot of different things because you can do a lot of stuff while you passively listen and passively engage with content. When you're focusing on your screen and you're just doom scrolling on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or on Twitter or whatever it may be, you're actively engaged. You're actively reading. You're actively choosing to do this each and every second. But if you just are listening to content, you're not actively engaging with it. I listen to content on my AirPods. The speakers on this aren't very loud. I do kind of miss that from the iPhone 13, but it's fine. I'm more likely to carry my AirPods now. And if I don't have my AirPods in, I'm less likely to use this phone because I typically can't hear it because something I'm doing normally makes some noise. So I find myself leaning towards not listening to anything and definitely not watching anything. Now, there were a few concerns for me. The camera, does that hold up? I am obviously somebody who takes a lot of videos. I also am somebody who has a wedding videography business. So the video aspects and photo aspects of a phone, I'm going to be a lot harsher on. The reality is that this phone doesn't really hold up. Is it going to be the best camera ever? No. But is it good enough? Does it capture the moment well enough? And for that, I would say 100% definitely it does. Are you ever going to be wowed by a picture that you take with this phone? Definitely not. You're just not going to be wowed by the pictures that this phone takes. But this phone takes pictures. That's something a lot of dumb phones can't do, or the pictures on those dumb phones are so bad, like the flip phone I use, they're so bad and so useless, it's not even really a photo. These photos are actually not that bad, and they're definitely good enough. The video, same thing. It's definitely good enough. And again, that speaks from somebody who I would consider somewhat an authority on video and photo, and I would say that for the average Joe, You will notice a slight difference, but is it going to change your life? Definitely not. Another thing I've noticed that this phone does for me is that it pulls me out of the rat race even more. I don't feel like I ever really compare myself to anybody unless they are doing something I'd like to do. I look up to Eliud Kipchoge because he's the best marathon distance runner on the planet. So I look up to him, but I don't compare myself to him because he runs a marathon in the time it takes me to run a half marathon. So I think having people that you look up to is okay, but you don't want to be constantly comparing yourself. Well, they have this, they have that. I want this, I want that. I don't ever feel like that with this phone because I have taken the main item that people have. People have a few main items. One of them is a home, one of them is a car or a bike or some mode of transportation. And the final one that basically everybody has is a phone. So there are like 3 or 4 main things that everybody has, and one of them is a phone. And to just choose to have a cheap one is so freeing. You don't have to worry about it. You're never ever looking at whatever phone anybody else has. I know back when I was really interested in technology 4 or 5 years ago, I was always paying attention to what phones people had. I would be jealous if they had a newer phone than me. I'm like, wow, that phone can do this, 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 and this. And now I look at those phones and I think, man, I can't believe that they have a phone that does that, and that. I feel bad for them. I know how addictive those can be. And obviously the financial aspect of it, I have made a bunch of videos talking about if you were just to invest the iPhone payment, the difference in how much money that could be over the course of your entire life. And that still rings true. If you were to take that $30, $40, $50 monthly payment on an iPhone and use one of them to buy an iPhone 6S and then use the rest of those payments each month that you are able to make and just put it into some type of investment fund. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. I'm not going to tell you what to put it in, but if you were just to make an average rate of return, you could have hundreds of thousands of dollars, especially if you're young. If you're in your 20s right now, 30s, you could put that same money away into an investment account and make so much money compared to just having the latest and greatest smartphone. So not only will you make a ton of money, you'll spend less time on your phone, which means you will be happier. Generally speaking, I think I would say the biggest problem in society today, I hate that word, but in the culture, is the overuse and the rampant use of smartphones. So I think that not only can you potentially be a millionaire, you could also be way happier. I think you're much more likely to find the love of your life. I know guys specifically spend way too much time on phones like this, doing things that they certainly shouldn't be doing. If you really want to take control of your life and you actually want to feel like you can change the way that you are currently living, you have to do everything you can in order to do that. And if you're watching these videos and you weren't looking for a life lesson, well, you got one. At the end of the day, this phone is awesome. Is it the best phone on the market right now? Definitely not. But it absolutely is. Is it going to wow your friends? Definitely not. Is it going to take the best pictures? Definitely not. But the good thing is you don't need to worry about taking the best pictures for Instagram or sending the best tweets on Twitter or liking the best posts on Facebook, because you're going to delete all those apps anyways. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to scroll on Reddit for hours and hours and hours and getting mad at this guy and agreeing with this person and becoming more and more polarized. What you could do is put your phone down and go outside. And then you could become a lot happier, be much more in touch with nature. We need sunlight. It's a very vital thing, especially for men. I know that I believe it increases testosterone just being in the sunlight. And if you're a guy, you know that testosterone is a good thing for a lot of different reasons. It builds muscles. So if you're somebody that is looking to downgrade your phone and take control of your life and really just start to live a better life, get an iPhone 6. I promise you, this one little adjustment that you're making in your life for $50, $60, it might be the best $50 or $60 you ever spend. I really, really believe that. And if I'm wrong, you come back and tell me I'm wrong, and I'll try to give you another suggestion because I want to help you. I want to help you. I have a job. I don't need to make a bunch of money off these videos. I want to try and help people because I look around at the people that I know and I see the thing that affects them the most is the amount of time that they spend on their phone. And so if I can't help them, maybe I could help you. Maybe I could help somebody. If I could help one person, that would definitely be worth it, beyond myself. So I really implore you to please downgrade your phone. The 6S is what I have found to be the perfect mix of functionality, but not too addictive. If you have another suggestion for me to try, I'd be interested in trying it. At the end of the day, you're going to have to really blow my mind with a phone if you want me to switch, because the 6S right now is my main squeeze. I love this device. The only other phone I have access to at the moment is an iPhone 6. So it's either an iPhone 6 or 6S because I gave away my 13. So thank you for watching the video so much. I implore you to go outside, delete whatever app you're on. If it's nighttime, then tomorrow morning, set an alarm and go for a walk just for 5-10 minutes. You'll thank me. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks again for watching so much. This has been Scott with Techno Eclipse. Peace out.